What I'm realizing and what I'm getting now is that the Gaza Strip war, or the war between the conflict between Israel and Hamas, Israel, Zionist Israel, they're basically South Africa. I mean, they are accurately South Africa, and as a Muslim or Arabic regime, Hamas is North Africa. So this is an African war. This is a war in Africa. It's kind of funny because it's almost like Africa is never mentioned in this shit. You know what I'm saying? They're never mentioned, like saying that when we say that Zionist Israel is South Africa, that's where they come from. The beings that have the pupil dominant eyes, which don't really seem so obvious or as black and marbly when they get the light blue irises or the darker blue irises. The ones that wear the thick rim glasses like Clark Kent or Superman, these are the reptilian insectoid hybrids who are rather strong as shit. And I'm not against them. I deal with everybody on a case-by-case, you know what I'm saying, scenario. But I'm realizing that their roots as the Sankozan Bushmen of Africa, yeah, they did drink blood. They have the nappiest of hair, but they bred themselves to be damn near like, I would say servant of servants, because when they migrated east into Europe, they ended up from the Horn of Africa, they ended up that was wrong. When they migrated to Europe, be it with the Muslims, because they were also known as the jinn, the ones who, I forgot what movie that was, where the guy was like, they can actually withstand the real severe heat of the African deserts. And they were like what was called the Ifrits, the I-F-R-I-T, the Ifrit, like genie or jinn. And during certain nights in the desert, the Arabs their women are shapely. And they're the descendants of, like I say, they became the Chinese people when they mixed in with Hindus. Their genes are very strong. The history of their gene is that they are like a insectoid larval form. Sometimes they're bees and they're industrious, but they're an insectoid larval form of the beings of Sirius B, who, when they came down here, their earlier manifestations of mixing in with, because the Sirius B beings, the Nomo, they didn't have any hair, but they were very oily. The fish Dagon or Dogon tribe with their descendants, the Dogon mixed in heavily with the South Africans when they left, but they claimed to be from North Africa. But the Nomo were pretty much like, to me, they're even described as being the progenitors of the Shaggies or Bigfoots. I mean, they're like they're like the ancestors of the Hindus. So you say, well, why didn't the Greys get that kind of hair? They're the bigs from Sirius C, right? Well, because they were allowed to be reincarnated on the planet Earth in a form that resembled what they looked like, even when they were aborted on Sirius B and relegated to live as spirit children around the atmosphere, in the upper atmosphere of Sirius C. They were an example. I'm not going to say, I'll choose my words wisely. I'm not going to say that they actually had to do this, that, the third. But them breeding the way they did was an example of them actually having enough faith to not really identify with any group on Earth, to go from appearing as the little peasy, nappy, woolly-haired, Sankozan Bushmen, to the Jews that we know today are Jewish. You know what I'm saying, of the day. So I feel like, the Bible says they can choose. They were able to choose their appearance and their breeding. The Bible has different prescriptions for, achieving different transformations as well. The Bible says from the serpent's root, which is basically like a worm. From the serpent's root comes the cockatrice, the red-haired rooster, which is like Ashkenazim Jews, or Irish, which is basically Irish is like what oh god, I forgot what it was. It just came to me. Irish is the goddess of discord and anger, and to the fiery flying serpent, which this is like a very woolly haired. To me, I see myself as a fiery flying serpent in a way, but you know what I'm saying. But I don't want to go there with it. It could be a Quetzalcoatl, Aryan, Dravidian type. But where we are with this, and the reason I consider myself to be, because I think about Yaldabaoth being, you know, anyway, I'm tired as hell. I just got tired. That's why I know that my phone is being scribed right now. But yeah, so it's a fight of North Africa, the war in Israel and Hamas. It's a fight of North Africa versus South Africa's descendants. But Africa's definitely in the middle, like the plains of Megiddo, and no one's mentioning any of this, like saying that the beings, the alien, wow. The beings from Africa, whatever beings from Africa, that did not come out right. I'm tired. I'm being energy vampire right now, because this information is truly on point and exact, which is like someone wants to halt me. So, but you know, Africa has all these resources. No one's actually mentioning it, but I would only imagine that during wartime, where Israel is going through what they're going through, they would love to try to use some of those resources of Africa, either, you know what I'm saying, by communicating diplomatically with African countries as leaders, or by just, you know, by some means of just surveillancing the places where the resources are. They would probably feel good about usurping those resources, you know what I'm saying, as they see fit. I'm not gonna stop that. They trying hard on this board, because I was full of energy, and then as soon as I started doing this video, it was like, so yeah, it's like the Sagamazan Bushmen that we know as Jews today, the Jewish people today, they migrated east through Europe, and they actually got to a certain point where they were able to look or appear as straight-haired beings, when originally they weren't. But the thickness of their hair was never not there. It was always there, like from their, like they're the ones that, you know, they have like the curly hair, that like the real staunchly curly red hair of Claudia on Interview with the Vampire. Because insects are like mosquitoes, but that's a different thing. I think the mosquito types are they're Martians. They're indigenous, and I guess you can see them like rats, like in a way, like a lot of the grays can be seen as rats or ungulates. They manifest different zoological or you know what I'm saying, forms, but you know, the Bible's references to different animals is definitely talking about their personalities and their functions in relation to how people function. And for the Bible to mention it, like the Bible says, heaven and earth will pass away, but his words remain true. So whatever, you know, initial, I can't wait to get in the panties and drawers of some random white chick that allows me to do so I can breed myself out of the nigger gene pool, I'm not angry at any of that. Not even, you know, potential perspective, you know, perceptually. But I realized that, you know what I'm saying, well, they're trying to get me, right? Take that to sleep. Like on motherfucking Dark City. If this fucking tune, sleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm loving my beard, yo. I'm getting ready to grease my shit up. That's what I've been doing. And I think that my grease can actually shield it. It's like, it's always something you can do. My experiences led me, see, I just got rejuvenated. I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have that mind, that willpower too. And, but yeah, so I just feel like, you know, right now, the Zionists are not really on the same, they're not rocking according to the same agenda as, Judaism. There are Orthodox Jews who don't support, they'll come out and tell you that there is no land of Israel. These are Orthodox Jews. But I hesitate to go into that because there's something else going on where there's a point being made. It deals with child molestation, like the Jedi. I came to the conclusion that Order 66 in Star Wars Canon, CANON, canonical collect information, was that I think Yoda was talking about Anakin. He was like, he won't be able to be a good Jedi because he you know, we get them from youth. Like saying that once they actually expose these children that they've, like the Essenes in a way, that they've, I don't want to attribute the Essenes to what these people are doing, but it could have been, it might have been the reason why Jesus left. That's why Jesus said, if any one of you harm one of these little ones, it'd be best for him if you were not born. Like saying that with the Essenes, they were like a celibate group. And so the people or the members they had, they were not women. They were either kicked out of their, you know, major group or city, and they were allocated, like saying that you can have these children and raise them in your, like, you know, aesthetic, you know what I'm saying, monk's ways, you know what I'm saying. And so when these children were exposed to certain physicalities like touches and, dare I even say, like, you know, what no one, like, you may not hesitate to say they were molested, you know, but it was a way of like introducing them to, like, saying, like, you know, they were like being put in a position to see anal sex is not a bad thing, a way to release your sexual aggressions, but in such a what's the word, in such a magical or tantric or black magic way to like, you know, I'm under the understanding that when men have anal sex, if the guy receiving it, it goes into his body, you know, it goes to his body, like saying that his body gets strengthened, like that's actual testosterone in there, and it breaks down, like saying that it's like a motherfucking injection or a shot. And these dudes be getting big and stuff. It's like, yo, you getting big? It's like, yeah, man, he's got so much semen inside of his body, is actually amplified his body. And then you have people out here who are like, you know, and that's from like to me that anal you know, use for, you know, the extra sperm, that's like it's a Hebrew thing, like an Israelite thing, I would say. But then as far as the Muslims, they're more so like, well, you know, they cover their hair because the sun burns their hair and their skin. So they could be more, it depends on the sect, the SECT. They would be more prone to, you know, it's almost like saying if you were locked up, and what would your proclivity be? And they were the ones who were more prone to perform oral sex, and then the semen that they would ingest would actually break down in their body to replenish growing hair. I mean, hair that had burnt out on the sides, or, you know, too many perms, or, you know, traction alopecia from having braids. That, like, you know, and then you can have a girlfriend who is bisexual, and so when she goes out there and she has sex with a man, and they can both do it, then the one lets the other one perform oral sex in her vagina and eat the semen out of her vagina, which enhances, with the power of stem cells, the regrowth and regeneration of not just the hair, but everything. It works the same way as the anal sex receiving it strengthens the body. It strengthens the body, and it goes to the stomach. You know what I'm saying? And it's like two ways to the stomach. One through the mouth and one through the butt. and the Hebrews choose the butt and the Muslims the mouth.